Good day, my name is Bluesuit and today I'll be going over my review of The Three Brothers, the second DLC for my personal favorite game of 2019, Outward, which recently sold its 1 millionth copy. In The Three Brothers, you'll take your seasoned hero of Aurai into Caldera, a craggy volcanic region in the game's southern lands, to assist a fledgling rebellion against monster and man alike. Without spoiling anything, I will say that the story in The Three Brothers is probably the least compelling out of the three campaigns that are out now. It does come with my new favorite Outward NPC, and does crescendo into a pretty crazy ending. But for one, the bar was set pretty high with the first two campaigns, and two, there are a lot of things in The Three Brothers that make up for its story. The first thing I want to talk about is one of the new skill trees. One of the new skill trees, because there are two, one and a half, a skill tree and a skill bush. The first is called Primal Ritualist, and it's one of my favorite skill trees in the game. You basically throw down these totems that are instruments, and as you strike them, they send out homing missiles to all enemies within their circle of influence. Every time one of these missiles hits an enemy, the instrument gains a charge, and you can use these charges to heal your health, your mana, or do repetitive, explosive, elemental AoE damage. The great thing is that this tree uses no mana, and you can probably fit it into almost every other build in the game, which will really shake up the builds that are out now. These instruments also have some really interesting interactions with some of the other skills and trees, so be sure to check out my Chalkstar video in the description to see the best build that I've found so far. It's super fun. The skill bushes are less exciting, but they're still a great inclusion that I feel a lot of players are going to miss completely because it isn't super easy to find, and that's the Specialist and Weapon Master. After you've built up your town a little, and we'll get into the building in a minute, you'll have access to build the Gladiator's Arena. Then you'll have to upgrade that to unlock the Specialist and Weapon Master. The Specialist has 6 skills to choose from that are all double-edged blades. For example, you can choose to increase your physical damage by 25%, but you'll have to sacrifice 15 stamina and 40% of your elemental damage. Or you could choose Cruelty, where all of your damage over time is increased, but you have a lower physical resistance, as well as a new stat called Status Resistance, that allows players to defend themselves against status effects. There are actually 2 new stats coming with the Three Brothers. The second is Barrier, which is the exact same as your protection stat, but instead of lowering physical damage by a flat amount, it lowers magic damage. None of the specialist skills fit my personal build very well, but they are strong enough that you could easily work them into builds to great effect. The Weapon Master, who I found far more interesting, offers new weapon skills for every weapon type, and each one is powerful and doesn't seem to come with any downsides. One of the biggest things coming in the Three Brothers that I think people are really excited about is the building mechanic. It's definitely not what I expected, but it definitely has its ups and downs. After a couple preliminary quests introducing you to the Caldera region, you'll eventually be taken to your new home to build your future. The starting issue is that the build system really isn't explained all that well. I built an extra house and it ruined my economy. I built all these useless buildings close to my city hall, and now I have to run for 5 minutes to go use my enchanting table. It's a slog to get started, and even if you build perfectly, you're gonna have to still grind for extra money to buy more building supplies. But by the end of it, it does feel pretty satisfying that you have your own town that you've built and watched grow. Plus, with the right buildings, you can now fast travel from your town to any other town of your choosing, but you do have to walk back. The new region in the Three Brothers was a breath of fresh air to me. One of my favorite zones is the Cher Sinise because it's pleasant to look at and seems to contain a little bit of everything, and Caldera shares a lot of that charm. It's a volcanic region, but you're going to be assaulted by every element in the game on the regular. Icy hippos, thunder bears, and ethereal gargoyles, just to name a few. And not only do some of the hardest enemies exist in Caldera, but also the most difficult boss fight that I've encountered in all of Outward. There's a bunch more stuff that's been added that I could talk about. A ton of new weapons and armors show up. There's about 18 new enchantments in the game, lots of new crafting recipes, new elemental arrow types, as well as grenades, which I didn't find particularly useful, as when you toss one, there's usually enough time for the enemy to just get out of its blast radius. Nine Dots has done a lot of things right in the Three Brothers, and with only a few minor bugs here and there. Outward the Three Brothers releases on PC on December 15th, 2020, with a console release planned for a later date. If this DLC launches at the same $20 price tag the first DLC, the Soroborians, launched at, then this is easily worth the price. With its all-new host of enemies, tons of new lore about the world of Aurai, and the replayability that this DLC adds to the entire collection, I'm valuing the Three Brothers at $25. And it's still 1 part Soulsborne and 1 part walking simulator, but I'd highly recommend it to those players who are ready to hit the trails again. I hope you enjoyed this review of Outward the Three Brothers. Come see me on Twitch where you can watch our reviews in progress 5 nights a week. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!